education, health, whatever it is, with the apt intentions of taking you through what's going on and keeping you updated, keeping you abreast, bringing you up to speed as regards happenings and trends in our dealings, international dealings this morning. And of course, we'll be focusing and be paying attention, apt attention to major headline, major newspapers this morning, the Punch, the Vanguard, and of course the Guardian newspaper this lovely morning. And while you're preparing for work, while you work from home, whichever it is, preparing for the day activity, we are ready to just keep you updated, just read you through and take you through some of the stories and major headlines in our dealings this morning. So welcome aboard once again. Trends to the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. And of course, it's always a pleasure. It's always a wonderful moment that we hear from you at every point in time, especially bringing to the fore, bringing to the limelight major stories which you also can be part of the conversation. Lest I forget, you can also join our social media community. Yes. Regardless of where you are, or probably you really want to enjoy an audio-visual experience, you want to see what is going on in the studio, you can definitely do that by simply going on our Facebook page or our YouTube page. Just search Mainland 98.3 FM and boom, voila, you're there to enjoy an audio-visual experience this morning of the morning bit on the Morning Express this beautiful morning, 18th day in the month of March 2025. Likewise, location can never be a barrier. You can definitely join us via our website www.mainland every day, of course, especially this morning and throughout the day. And you can as well listen via Radio Garden, regardless of where you are. You can definitely enjoy that. So welcome on board once again. And of course, always trends in the papers. We'll just peruse the pages of our dailies this morning, go through major headlines on the front pages of our newspapers. And of course, we'll get Fᴜʟʟ on board as always to give us several perspective and insight and analyze the major headlines we have in our dealings this morning. So welcome aboard once again. My name is Mᴏᴜ Akinyo. So you trend to the papers it is. Join us on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM and on our website www.mainlandfm.com. Fouad Said, good morning.
Good morning, Lady Mo. How are you doing?
Doing very well, fantastically well. How are you doing too?
I'm good, very good.
Good to know that. All right, of course, 18 days gone quickly. Without further ado, let's kickstart and take a couple, of the major stories that we have in the front page of our newspapers this morning. Let's pick up the Punch newspaper. We'll start with the Punch newspaper. And of course, this very first story I'll be bringing on board is, of course, appearing as the bigger headline in almost all our dailings, national dailings this morning, and is about the ongoing crisis in Rivers State, which is just starting, so to say. The Rivers State House of Assembly yesterday issued a notice accusing the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara, and his deputy, Ngozi Odu, of alleged misconduct. And of course, 26 members of the assembly made a misconduct allegation against Fubara in a notice sent to the Speaker, Martin Amaewhule, on Monday. That was yesterday. And of course, according to the lawmakers, their action follows Section 188 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and other existing laws. Of course, yesterday we had the notice passed. Of course, this has been something that has been expected since last week, speaking about the step that will be taken by the Assembly to impeach the governor. All right, the Martin Amaewhule-led Assembly, loyal to the former governor, minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, served Fubara and Professor Odu with a notice of alleged gross misconduct, signaling an imminent impeachment process. And of course, the notice listed the alleged misconduct sent to the Speaker was a sequel to a letter dated March 14, 2025, signed by 26 members of the Assembly. A whole lot have actually happened since after the notice, and of which it has now brought to the center or table of discussion or discourse on the process of impeaching a governor. of which is not a new thing in, of course, Nigeria's politics. But impeaching a sitting governor of a state in Nigeria is a very serious matter. It is serious, not simply because it amounts to effectively, sacking the number one citizen of a state in question, but also because it amounts to reversing the decision of a majority of the citizens of that state who have placed the governor in that office for, a stated term by voting for the governor in the gubernatorial elections of that state. Said Fuad, just permit me to quickly, intimate us about the steps, just the steps of impeaching a governor. Now, yes, the first step is a notice of any allegation in writing alleging gross misconduct. That's step one. On the part of the governor, this notice must be signed by not less than 1/3 of the members of a state House of Assembly. It's presented to the Speaker of the House of Assembly. And of course, according to the Constitution, the gross misconduct is defined a grave violation of breach of the provisions of this Constitution or a misconduct of such nature as amount in the opinion of the National Assembly to gross misconduct. And step two, after that, after the notice has been given, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly must, within 7 days, serve the governor of the state and each member of the State House of Assembly with a copy of the notice of allegation. And then that will move on to the next step, which is that the governor has the right of reply. He or she actually does not have to reply, however, and any such statement in reply to the allegation must be served on each member of the State House of Assembly. And that will move to the step 4, which is within 14 days of the presentation of the notice of a Speaker of the House of Assembly, the State House of Assembly will then resolve by motion without any debate whether or not the allegation shall be investigated. And this motion would then need to be passed by at least 2/3 majority of all members of the State House of Assembly. And then when that is done, if the motion fails, which is step 5, to reach the required majority, the process immediately stops and no further action will be taken. However, if the required majority is obtained and the motion is passed, then the Speaker of the State House of Assembly will, within 7 days of the passing of the motion, request the Chief Judge of the state to appoint a panel of 7 persons who is, in his opinion, of unquestionable integrity to investigate the allegations. And of course, the members of the panel cannot be members of any public service, legislative house, or political party, just to make the process fair enough. And after that, then we'll move to the panel, which the panel will then give a report of its finding within 3 months of being appointed, and the findings will be reported to the State House of Assembly. During this proceedings of the panel, the governor will then has a right to defend himself and will also have the right to be defended by the legal practitioner of his or her choice. And then when the panel reports that the allegation has not been proven, there will be no further action. However, if the report is that the allegation against the governor has been proven, then the State House of Assembly will consider the report, and the resolution for the adoption of the report will be moved. And lastly, for the resolution to be adopted, it must be supported by not less than 2/3 majority of all the members of the State House of Assembly. And once adopted, the governor then will stand removal from office as from the date of the adoption of the report. And of course, we know the consequences of the impeachment, which is upon adoption of the report by 2/3 majority of the State House of Assembly, the governor stands impeached and most immediately will vacate the office. And, in case where the governor is impeached, the incumbent deputy governor. But in this case, the notice is filed against the governor and the deputy. So in this case, then the third man in the state, which is the Speaker, will take up the vacant seat if then the governor is impeached. Those are the processes of impeaching a governor. And of course, we also have the case of, okay, even fine, you are going ahead with the impeachment process. The chief judge, according to one of the steps, which is step 5, where you get the chief judge to bring up a panel, the chief judge as well is also even in the has been caught in the web of gross misconduct and all of that by the State Assembly, and several actions to this Fuad has come up over the process, which of course the FCT minister had said, well, heaven will not fall. Fuad.
Well, heavens will not fall because again, the heavens are not going to be impacted by the inordinate ambitions and the responsibility of human beings. The heavens are divine. I will not kowtow the shenanigans of our politicians. So really, the heavens will not fall. Again, let me thank you most sincerely for giving us the details of the impeachment process, what it takes to impeach a governor. In the case of Rivers State, it's a drama that we all have to sit back, get your popcorn, get a bottle of drink, and just enjoy the drama as it unfolds. It's a series, so it's not something that you can watch. It's just, one exposure. It has to be continuous exposure. And we're doing that, actually. You can see that the plan is clear. Jᴏɪᴜ and his 27 loyal lawmakers have decided to start an impeachment proceeding. Because by that notice, by that letter to the governor and the deputy, it's clear that, in their minds, they've made it up to impeach the governor and the deputy. Because someone just asked me, a friend just asked me this morning, why put the deputy? Why not the governor alone? And I told him that, look, of course, the plan is to remove the governor and the deputy to pave way for Martin Mᴏᴜ, the current speaker, to occupy the seat. He's been very loyal, more like a robot, very robotic in nature. Toss him around, he's been moving around. So I think Jᴏɪᴜ enjoys 100% loyalty for me. Probably they don't trust the deputy governor to do their bidding. So he seems to be the right person that will do their bidding 100%. So the plan is to remove the governor and the deputy governor. But again, we'll wait to see how this eventually ends. Because as it is, Fᴜභārā and the deputy are up against, of course, a very hostile 27-man state House of Assembly that has been emboldened by a very questionable Supreme Court judgment. They have a Jᴏɪᴜ who also enjoys the privilege of having the support of the federal government, what you call the federal might. So Fᴜභārā is not just against the state House of Assembly that has been emboldened, like I said, by a questionable Supreme Court judgment. They also have a Jᴏɪᴜ. He also has a Jᴏɪᴜ to contend with. And with Jᴏɪᴜ also comes federal might. And then you also have a situation now. The major obstacle to these 27 lawmakers to impeaching the governor would be the hostility they are going to get from the people of Rivers State, number one.
Okay.
And then the second one will be how to get a chief judge of the state to do their bidding. And as you can see, they've gone ahead, for example, to begin to give the chief judge some trouble. Suddenly they are writing to the DSS to question the certificate, alleged certificate forgery against the chief judge. Because they know that, look, the process is incomplete. It cannot even go on without the involvement of the chief judge.
Right. So
the loyalty of the chief judge is the issue here now. Where does his loyalty stand? Ordinarily, in a constitutional democracy, he is supposed to be non-partisan. He or she is supposed to be non-partisan. He's supposed to just follow the rule of law. But we know that in this country and in the Rivers matter, everything has been politicized. The judiciary is heavily politicized on this matter. The House of Assembly is politicized. Everything has been politicized. So all eyes on the chief judge. And then, we need not to disturb our head over this Rivers State matter. Because, again, I know the governor also has his own card. Like I told a friend yesterday, I'm sure while the case was in the Supreme Court, he must have also had a plan, what you call a post-Supreme Court judgment plan if it does not go his way. And we are already seeing that, look, the governor also has his own game plan, and the game continues. The interesting part of this matter is that, look, the Supreme Court that decided to descend into the arena, legally speaking, have also not concluded the matter of the status of these 27 lawmakers. Because as we speak, the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt has the case of the status of 27 lawmakers still pending before it.
Exactly. And even adjourned.
So that was why people said that, look, the Supreme Court descending into the arena by talking about that particular situation has created a legal problem, a political problem, that is going to even go beyond Rivers State. Because we are talking about the Supreme Court being the highest court in the land for the case of precedent. So, again, it's just what it is. We'll have to wait. Some people are saying, oh, they are hoping the president would look at the interest of the nation. I'm sorry, the president on this matter has also picked a side from day one of his intervention on this rivers matter. So again, we just have to keep our fingers crossed and see how it all ends.
All right, of course, keeping our fingers crossed. Like you mentioned, part of the fallout of this process, the Federal High Court, like you mentioned, sitting in Port Harcourt, that adjourned even the ruling for ruling in a suit filed by the Labour Party in Rivers State against the alleged defection of the
27 lawmakers, whereas the Supreme Court was already delving into a matter that was not before it. And as you speak, even the judgment is inconclusive on the status of these 27 lawmakers. And then people say we should not question the thinking of these 5 justices that has caused a serious constitutional problem for us. You think the Supreme Court is infallible and we cannot even review? Whether you like it or not, you can be lawyers or be SAN. We have common sense. And we are saying that there are a lot of questions on the judgment of the Supreme Court. A lot. For somebody to think that, we have no issue to the judiciary. You think it's our judiciary? It has not been politicized. There are no questions about recent judgments when it comes to political matters. Are we living in denial or just becoming very delusional about what we already know?
Right.
Wait to see how it all ends anyways. We are watching.
You have actually divulged the major challenge that they will definitely face. Speaking of the stage, the step 5, where the chief judge will come in, and
the role,
the role of the chief judge, and also the people, of course, because the people had elected the governor, and a part of the fallout as well is that the APC even factions are divided. 2 factions of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State were divided over the impeachment notice against Fubara, and even the Commissioner of Information, stating that it's taking its toll on the people already.
Let me tell you,
they're
Lady Mo.
frustrating. Fuad, also to add to what you want to say, according to the Commissioner of Information, also mentioned the fact that they are not even allowing the governor to even obey, because right from time the governor has said yes, it will go ahead with the Supreme Court judgment, and even frustrating the governor not to even implement what the Supreme Court had sat on.
But what I wanted to say, because again, it's a game, and you can see that the back and forth probably continue to the end of the tenure of this particular government. How they are going to be able to work together, I don't know. The issue of impeachment, we'll have to wait to see how it all works out. But what I want to say is that, look, in the minds of these politicians, several people are here from weekend. The people does not matter. Have you seen them talking about the people of River State? It's always about I did this, I made him governor, I bought some for them. He sees himself as even more important than the people of River State. Have you ever seen where he has talked about the people in anything he has said? I thought I did this, I made this one, I put this one there. It's about him. So the people does not really matter. They don't see the people. And what kind of democracy are we running when the people no longer matter? And the Godfather. Only the Godfather decides everything. So far it's enabled by a very corrupt and questionable judiciary.
On, building institution, building system, or a working and strong structure in the country. Definitely hope for the best to happen. We'll definitely keep talking about it till we get it right. Let's move ahead on that. You get that on page 2 in the Punch newspaper, and also the Guardian newspaper has that very story on the front page, which is Rivers Crisis. That has the headline written as Eyes on Rivers Chief Judge as Impeachment Plot Thickens Against Fubara and Deputy. Page 6 captures that very story in the Guardian newspaper. Let's move ahead. We have an update. Of course, updates have been coming up about the core member saga, calling out the government about how things are, being terrible leader and all of that. The Punch newspaper is capturing that a statement credited to an activist, which is Sowore, human rights activist and publisher of Sahara Reporters, Omoyele Sowore, said yesterday that a youth corps member, Usue Ugwuamaye, who criticized President Bola Tinubu's administration over hardship, is under tremendous pressure to apologize. He actually accompanied the core member to the NYC local government inspector's office in Lagos alongside a team of lawyers, said government officials, including ministers, which have been reaching out to, pressure Ugwuamayi to apologize. And he had this interview done yesterday night, insisting that the core member committed no crime by exercising their freedom of expression in criticizing Tinubu's administration. Of course, we've been having arguments about the code of conduct of the NYC vis-a-vis the freedom of speech of the Constitution and all of that. And a lot of people have also been calling out the government, the TUC and several agencies calling out the government in reacting to this issue, not to pick what the core member had said and proving to Nigerians that the administration is not a terrible one. Fuad, what's your think on that?
Well, it's a very simple one, really. And I'm sure this core member, like I said to say yesterday, must have weighed all of these options. Sometimes when you decide to do something, I'm sure you must have probably made up your mind. I'm sure she must have known that, look, there was going to be this backlash. I've seen a lot of nonsensical analysis of the fact that, look, some of them even call our children, these children. They say these Gen Z, children. I'm like, how do you call someone who is over the age of 18 years a child? Or you call them children? Somebody who has passed through the 4 walls of university and has graduated, is in her early 20s, and you call her a child. Look, see, sorry, Lady Mo. Even when I was in secondary school, at some point in my life, I was already making up my mind on issues. Yes, I could recollect the level of critical thinking I had as far back as secondary school, as young as I was then. Talkless of when we were in the higher institution. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
The congresses we had, the kinds of conversations we were having with school authorities and all of that. And then to think that a girl that is serving is a child, these children. What children? And then shame on those government megalomaniacs. Some of them get all these little peanuts to be Iran for government, to be on social media, insulting everybody and anybody. Oh, they started posting where she was eating with her friends, where she was partying. See the person that she says is suffering. So she should not live her life because of the incompetence of the government. And so that justifies the reason why she should not speak out. Shouldn't you even appreciate somebody that can take care of herself, who is also speaking to the reality of many Nigerians that are suffering? Remember, it was the same word thinking when the video said the country was a mess. Oh, the video should not be talking. Oh, shouldn't you even appreciate the person that can take care of himself, who is speaking to the reality of those that cannot? So, you see, again, we say these things and, you just shake your head. Some of the things that these guys bring up to defend the indefensible, so ridiculous in nature. The question is, what this core member has said, is it a lie? Has she lied in anything she has said? She has simply said what millions of Nigerians have been complaining about.
Right.
She was thinking about her own reality and the reality of many Nigerians, myself inclusive. Have I not been complaining? Don't I know how much I used to fuel my car on a daily basis? What it takes me to fuel the car on a monthly basis? What it takes me to feed my family that has ballooned through the roof? Everybody keeps suffering and smiling, and then we keep emboldening this incompetence from our government. And you say one year rule book from one NYC cannot make her talk. Look, the society cannot change if people are too conformed in nature. And like I said, non-conformist nature of human beings is the reason why society change for the better. This girl is a hero, and she must be protected and supported. And we'll continue to do that. Nobody can stop us from talking. Oh, you are beating us and we should not cry. Or when we cry, you must tell us how to cry. What kind of nonsense is that?
All right, of course, that has been greeted with several reactions. And basically, people have been saying that the government should prove the fact that, okay, it's not a terrible administration. Contrary to that, speaking of the present administration, and speaking either against or for, we have a statement credited to the first son of the country, and I would like us to listen to it before you comment to that. Basically, because of the atmosphere at which he said that, because this is contrary to what we just mentioned about your perspective and the average Nigerian.
Nigerians are suffering.
Exactly, and the average Nigerian's perspective.
So what is the first one saying?
Yeah.
The Nigerians are not suffering.
Let's listen to it. We'll be back shortly.
Ministers don't politicize this. It was never politics. But they keep coming for me. They keep coming for my family. They keep coming for your father. They keep coming for Ashwaju, Bola, Ahmed, Tinubu, the greatest president in the history of Nigeria. The only president that has carried young people along from when he was governor to when he became president. The only president that considered youth and student loans. The only president that's created a platform for young people to thrive. The only president that has created an economy that benefits everybody. The only president that's not trying to enrich his own pocket. And you're telling me, no. Let's address this. The ASAP program was one where I wanted to come and break fast with my peers. It is something that the Weather Foundation has been doing for over.
All right, Fuad. According to him, it was never politics, but they keep coming for me, according to him. They keep coming for my family. They keep coming for my father.
Coming for him. Who is coming for him? Who has been coming for him?
People now. People of people of Nigeria.
Have you ever seen us talk about it? Other than the fact that they said so. Maybe running for governor of Lagos State.
Of Lagos State.
He has the right to.
Fuad, according to.
Who is coming for him?
Well,
who is he particularly?
He's the son of the president.
And so?
Jᴏɪᴜ Tinubu. All right, so in case
and
you
don't know, what does it change? What does it bring to the table?
Fuad,
how does that change my own reality and your reality?
Fuad, or as regard the earlier report, I just want us to make a connection to that. According to him, he said the president is the only president that has kept the people at home from when he was governor to when he became president. The only president that considers youth. The only president that created a platform for young people to fly.
For everybody to try. The greatest president.
The only president that created an economy that has benefited everybody. The only president that is not trying to enrich his own pocket, and on and on and on. And this made me remember the statement credited to the video I saw about social media, controversial social media influencer VDM, when he was actually calling out, I think he visited China, and he was calling out this Jᴏɪᴜ Tinubu, speaking about is the only one that can even stand in the gap, that understands the youth, that can come in gap and call his father to do the right thing, call his father to see the things that other foreign countries are achieving, especially China and other countries are achieving, especially when it comes to youth and empowerment, innovations, development, and all of that. It made me remember that. And of course, this is what I'm hearing from Jᴏɪᴜ Tinubu, that of course we already have the best president. So what next?
Well, we're on a constitutional democracy. So Mr. Jᴏɪᴜ Tinubu has a right to express his opinion on the government of his father, the government under his father, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So if he thinks his father is the greatest president to have ever ruled the country, if he thinks his father has created an economic atmosphere that has benefited everybody, if he thinks his father is a president who is not in government to enrich himself, he has not taught public funds before, that's his own perception and understanding of his father. You know that I've always talked about perception.
Right.
You see what you want to see. And seeing what you're seeing is dependent on a lot of things, what you are exposed to. Of course, you would understand that his own reality can never be the reality of a lot of Nigerians. And you might not even understand the reality of a lot of Nigerians. He probably may not even understand the perception of a lot of Nigerians about his father. If you understand what I'm saying, because half of the people I've seen him surround himself with are, of course, political psychopaths. You could see that in that particular video, that audio, after the whole speech of Jᴏɪᴜ Tinubu, they started singing on your mandate. So anybody that sings on your mandate is just a psychopath. You understand that the family would not be so discerning to be able to pick some of these issues. Again, this probably is the first time Lady Mo, I am seeing Tinubu express himself. I must tell you, he's not really the talking type, or if maybe he talks, it's not really in the public space. But it's probably the first time really I've seen him speak, and I must say I was completely disappointed. In fact, I was disappointed to the point where I had to go and check his age. How old is this young man? And because I'm like,
you want to call him a child as well? You want to call him a child?
No, he's not. He can't be a child. He's an adult, a father, a married man with children. But I needed to check again. Because I like, at his age, I probably will think we're contemporaries. I'm not sure. Probably a bit older than him, but he's a full-grown adult. But I'm like, at his level, with the level of exposure, with the things he has access to, the level of education he has, I was hoping I would have been able to put himself together better than what we saw. It was more like somebody who was just rambling. He was so incoherent. There was really nothing discerning about the things he said. There was nothing so intelligent about the things he was saying. He appeared to be a man who is so distant, who lives in a bubble, completely in a delusional world. So I'm like, oh, maybe he needs to check and recheck himself. Maybe he needs to go to a finishing school. Maybe he needs a publicist. He needs a PR person to also work with him. So that when he goes out to talk, he's well put together. It makes more sense than what we saw. It was completely embarrassing, my own honest opinion. And I think I have a right to it. But at the end of the day, he will say what he has said. Nigerians know what they know. You understand what I'm saying? So I think we just have to leave him to. But I'm just saying that I was completely disappointed in him. He attempted to be a man who was not so deep. It just looked like somebody who really requires more when it comes to
say about the present administration.
So he has said he has the right to say what he said. Just say we have a right.
Of course.
Also tell him how I feel about him and what he has said.
Of course.
So we are all expressing our own right there.
Exactly.
And we have a right to enjoy our rights. So that is democracy.
Exactly. And we will say it as regards what we are experiencing, are facing in the same country that we are in. Sometimes some people will ask question, are you in the same country and you are having different, or you have a different perspective to what
perception cannot be the same, Lady Mo.
Of course, I know that. Let's move away from that. I'll pick up the Guardian newspaper. We're still talking about the economy, talking about how things are hard, or really relatively, to people in the country. Guardian newspaper captures that Nigeria's inflation drops to 23.18%, decreased to 23.2% in February, down from 24.48% in January, following the rebasing of the Consumer Price Index (CPI). And according to MBS, they're saying that the food inflation moved from 25.18% in January to 23.5%.
You have 1 minute remaining.
In February 2025, and noting that the February inflation rate was driven by food and non-alcoholic beverages, which rose by 9.2%, and the drop, according to MBS, was due to the drop in the prices of some food items, including beans, maize, cassava, amongst others. And also, the MBS report also showed that urban inflation was 25.15% earlier this year, and the MBS had changed the consumer price index base year from 2009 to 2024, an action that it believes will give a more accurate inflation figures. And of course, according to the present administration, they're saying that we are looking forward to 15% inflation rate, to achieve in 2025. And since then, we have been seeing, of course, rebasing of the rate and coming down of that. But in reality, the question is, does that translate to the reality of, because
your call credit has been...
Oh, mine. All right. We'll try to... Apologies for that, really. We'll try to do the needful and get back forward on online. We're still trending the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos, and we are perusing the pages of our national dailies this morning, the Punch, the Vanguard, the Guardian newspaper, speaking and, of course, going through major stories and major headline in our dailies this beautiful morning. Don't forget you can join us live on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM, and as well, you can listen via Radio Guardian or via our website www.mainlandfm.com. Trends on the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. My name is Dᴏɪᴜ L쏘ᴅy. Once again, I'll just quickly do this break, do the needful, and then we'll be back shortly on Trends on the Paper. Please stay with us.
Knowledge is power. Information is key. And that is why we aim to unlock the doors of opinion, unveiling the stories that need to be told. Join Omobola Sandra and Sage Babalola on the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM from 5 a.m. to 11 a.m. as we invoke the thought-provoking discussion, tackle the tough questions, challenge assumption, and give a voice to the unheard. This is the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Welcome on board the Morning Express.
Good morning.
You are listening to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Good morning.
Still trends in the papers on Mainland 98.3 FM. I sincerely apologize for that break. Short bit and we are back. We have Fouad side. Fouad, welcome back. Sorry for the break. Okay, we're talking about the inflation rate dropping to 23.18%, and of course, analysts would even ever give inflation rate. You can definitely calculate the inflation rate yourself. You know, the rate at which you got a particular good at a particular month, and of course, compared to the amount you buy it now. So, speaking of the report of the MBS vis-a-vis.
Data is very important. Figures are important. But how you arrive at that figure, or how you are able, the MBS has already told us that whatever metric they were using before, they were going to abandon it to adopt a new metric. That was the replacing idea. You know, they did that also with unemployment. They did that with the GDP.
Right.
Now, to bring the figure down to 15%. Even if the reality is saying otherwise. I understand when figures are created to move a particular perception. I know when figures are used to drive a particular narrative. And my mind tells me, because again, people will say, oh, when the figure is there, you say you adopt it. Look, there have always been questions about the modality, the indices, and the metrics that have been used by the MBS to come up with some of their figures. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But again, I think Nigerians have gotten to the point where the figures no longer matter. They would have to look at their own reality. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Our women, for example, they go to the market every day. Our women go to the market every day. People go to the market every day and just gauge their opinion, pitch it against what the MBS is telling them. If you understand what I'm saying. Yes, for some food items, there's been some marginal drop in price. No doubt about it. But generally, things are still extremely expensive. If you understand what I'm saying. So, again, when it comes to inflation, you know, you look at food inflation, you look at headline inflation, you can also look at inflationary trends based on purchasing power and the cost of things. So, a lot of things comes into some of these data and how to drive this conclusion. But what I'm saying is that, look, I know when data is put together to create a particular perception. I know when data is put together, you know, to push a particular narrative. And it will not work in this instance because, again, it's about the realities of the people and what they go through every day. So, again, that is the figure that the MBS wants us to work with. It's there for Nigerians to accept it.
That particular story, you get more details on that. Okay, I want to get the page quite clearly. Okay, page 15 has that very story in the Guardian newspaper. Moving ahead, let's move to Ogun State. We have a story here from the Guardian newspaper as well, speaking about the bickering between Amosu and Dangote over cement plant demolition. The president of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, yesterday accused former Ogun State Governor Ibukun Amosu of demolishing his cement plant twice during his tenure And Dangote made the claim on Monday, that was yesterday, during a meeting with Governor Dapo Abiodun. But in a swift reaction to that, Amosun had to react in a statement by his media office describing Dangote's allegation, challenging him to avail the public of the requisite approvals for the construction of the structures they alleged were demolished. And of course, Dangote, in a video from the meeting with Abiodun, alleged that the Amosun administration twice, I beg your pardon, pulled down his cement factory while it was under construction. But responding to the allegation in a statement, Amosun described Dangote's allegation as deliberate mischief. Dangote stated, of course, the economic benefit of establishing this in Ogun State.
Well, again, Dangote is making a revelation, an allegation, and you've seen that the media office of the former governor of Ogun State has also responded, debunking and basically saying that, look, they have not debunked the fact that they demolished the factory twice. What they have said is that Dangote should show them
evidence,
the
approval of,
the approvals. But again, there have always been questions about how the former governor, Ibukile Amosun, ran the state, especially when it comes to his acceptance of people bringing in business into the state. Although his media team has said that, look, the state received the highest number of businesses, became home to the highest number of businesses under his tenure. I'm sure that's going to be subject to a lot of debate. But we were all also here when Dangote had already planned. For example, the refinery in Lekki was supposed to be built in Ogun State, at the free trade zone. And it was said at that time that, look, he wasn't getting the cooperation of Amosun, who was there, the governor, and out of frustration, he moved it to Lagos. I know people have been saying that, look, that would have created jobs for the people of Ogun State, revenue, and all of that. So I think the back and forth is just for our information. There's really nothing we can do about it.
Right.
If you understand what I'm saying. Because Dangote now has a governor who is more welcoming of his business ideas. And he has said he's coming back to Ogun State. He will be building the cement factory again in Itorí, and then he'll also be building the port at Olokonla, which he had planned to do alongside the refinery. So, good one for Ogun State. Again, it's a past issue. I don't think there's anything that can change. What has happened, And now that Dangote is back to Ogun State, we just say congratulations to Ogun State. And just leave it, let's just leave it in history. There's nothing we can do really about
it. All right, page 7 captures the details. Just quickly, Fuad, on the military attacks, the electricity workers and discos have blamed the federal government and are threatening strike. The federal government, of course, had to come under fire for its silence over the attacks of electricity distribution companies by the military. I saw the video and it was quite disturbing. And the question is, constituted authorities or personnel, security personnel that are supposed to make sure that protect the people and make sure that what they did don't happen or don't happen in our society are the ones that are culpable of this particular act, and it beckons so many questions. And of course, even the discos, electricity workers are threatening nationwide service withdrawal due to that. I saw the way they had to beat a man, and the first question that came to me, was it the one that did a thing? You're not even asking question, or you're not asking your head or the chairman or whoever is heading that particular what's it called? Branch, so to say. What?
I think we just have to first generally condemn any form of attack on innocent Nigerians who are doing their jobs. Again, we must understand that these guys are under authority. I've also had my very bitter encounter with power distribution company workers. You understand? I've had very bitter, very tough encounter with them. But I know that, look, these guys are not working in isolation. They are not working for themselves. They are under a particular authority. So the same frustration that individuals like us, who cannot help ourselves, have to endure and tolerate, you could see that the military guys could not have tolerated it. And look at what has happened. Because it's actually very frustrating. The bills that people are made to pay, you understand, if they also can carry guns, the party would have done the same thing. Because Nigerians are heavily frustrated with this power distribution arrangement. I must tell you, Nigerians are very, very annoyed. So it is just because these other naval guys have guns and they know that nobody will really question them. If they have killed somebody there, the probably will go down again. And the issue is that the anger we've seen of the naval officers who have gone to beat those guys under this government. The only thing is that we don't have guns and we can't help ourselves.
All right.
I'm telling you. But like I said, it's even wrong to go and beat up these guys because they are working under. If I have somebody working there now, if for example, if my wife works at IEKB, would I encourage soldiers to go and beat them up?
All right.
Because they are working under the instruction and authority of the government.
All right.
They told me that this government, when they came in, set up an account. And they insisted that all money was first going to that account. And they are under target, crazy targets. They must be those targets. The workers are under serious pressure to meet the target. So I think that the naval officers should have shown their anger to the people who have employed them than the workers, the electricity workers. I'm telling you.
All right.
Everything we say, the pain we go through today with this band A, band B arrangement goes back to the government because they started it. They created this monster that is killing a lot of businesses in the country.
Forward, we are because of time constraints, we might not be able to go ahead. We'll come back on Mainland Focus. Really, thank you very much for your contribution.
Thank you.
Analysis. Really appreciate it.